Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Popped out the garden after some really cold weather at the start of the year in January, and I've just done a further bit of picking, which is some of the stuff that you see right here. So there's a little bit of perpetual spinach type chard, some lovely Nero kale, and a little bit of Russian kale there, and some more lovely Jerusalem artichokes. And there's been really cold temperatures, and some of the plants have went a little bit flopped over, but there is signs that they're going to recover once the weather starts to warm up a little bit. So if we just hop over here, I'll show you some of this chard like spinach that I'm growing, and you can see that the temperatures, which were a few nights ago, I've got a recorder in the garden at home and it records the highest and lowest temperatures of the day, and it said that the lowest a few nights ago was -9, and that was near the houses where I live. So out at the allotment here, where there's no houses or heat sources of that type around, then I'm sure that it would have been even lower than -9. But the plants themselves are still ongoing, and there's still new growth that's coming right there. So it remains to see how they get on from this point. But these were late planted, tender young green crops, and there is some nice leaves to be had on the outsides of the plants. Even though they've gone a little bit floppy in the cold, we're going to take these home and use the vast majority of them up tonight. So I'll just pick a small little amount, and there's another nice little pick in there, which is really great at this time of the year, being in early January. To still have some greens to pick is really nice, and there's other plants that are still coming on, as you can see right here. But the temperatures were really cold, and it really did get to things quite a bit. But there's still things to be had, and you've seen us dig up the Jerusalem artichokes before, so I wasn't going to repeat that. But that's what I've got today. So there's some nice greens there, some kale and some Russian kale, and also the Jerusalem artichokes, which I've already showed you, but just wanted to have a little bit of an update with you. I've got a video that I've made of sowing some onions, so I'll get that put up. I've got some wood cut up here ready for some raised bed making, and this is just a bit of metal work that I use for various things on the garden, but this is the wood that I'm going to use to make some beds with. So there's some nice bits of wood in there, which is really lovely. So they've all been cut up to size, certain ones. So this whole area is going to be cleared out, and then I'm going to make some beds with this lot here, which will be something that I'll update you on when they are put together. There's a few other things that's going on. There's some sensu onions coming along in here, and again the really cold temperatures made them flop a little bit, but the actual onions themselves are still alive and still growing. So there's some sensu winter onions in there, and I've got another bed of them at the back of the garden there as well, but there's around about 30 in there, and there's another bed of them elsewhere. So those winter sensu onions, the Japanese type, are doing okay even though it's been so cold. And there is other things that are still nice in the garden today. There's the Russian kale, which is really lovely in here, and there's a little bit of spinach over there, which is again flopped a little bit in the really cold temperatures, as has that Russian kale there. But it was so cold. I went down to the banks of the river, and there was ice on the edge of the river, and I haven't seen the Tyne freeze for quite a long time. So it just goes to show how cold it was. There's my little harvest again, and there's a lot of work to be done. There's more wood here that I've got cut up ready for bed making, and like I say, all of this is going to go. Since I last spoke to you, I moved the fruit bush that was here, and I've put it over here. So this is a lovely blackcurrant and I've took some cuttings from it which I'll show you in another video, but they're at home. But I've took some cuttings of the blackcurrant bushes, but I moved that one to there, and I did some layered cuttings in the garden, and removed one of the layered cuttings that had become quite established, and I put it over there. And there's another small little blackcurrant bush over there, so there's 3 nice blackcurrants that have been moved on. And I've put some nice cow manure around the plants, but I've left the very centre without manure because it's good practice to not put manure around the base of the plant. It can lead to stem rotting and it can affect the plant badly. So in the very centre there's no manure, but around the edge where the roots are going to venture, there's some nice cow manure being put in there. And also on this plant right here, you can see there that I've left the centre clear, but I've put the manure around the outside of this blackcurrant bush, and the same with that young one over there. And that's about it for today. Not the most exciting video, I know, but it's early days. I'm going to put that onion sowing video up on my channel, so I hope you like that and enjoy. And there's my little harvest for today. So as time goes by, we'll get into the garden a little bit more, and I'll show you some other stuff I'm going to do. I've got some plans for some hugel type stuff, and I've got a load of stuff that I got from work to do this. So there's a load of branches and twigs and stuff in this box here, on top of where I'm making some soil in this area. And if I just go past this horse manure and straw and these bits of wood that I've also got cut for some things I'm going to make, then I'll show you that I've got some other wood over here as well for some hugel stuff. So there's some bags of twigs there, or a box of twigs there, another box of twigs there, and the one over there. And I'm also going to go out and start collecting up some large branches and a few other things, and get some hugel stuff on the go. You know, it's something I quite enjoy, so we'll do that when the time's right, and I'll show you a little bit of what it is that I've been up to. But that's about it for today, everyone. I'll catch you again on the next one. Come on, Ginny, we're going home. I'll take me a little bit of food and go and get myself back in the warm, because it is another really cold day today and everything is generally quite frozen. But this weekend I'm going to get down here, get some beds built, get all this cleared away where I used to grow a load of flowers, and change things up a bit. But that's it. I'll catch you again on the next one. Catch you again soon, everyone. I'm going to be having a little bit of a fire as well, because I've got a load of stuff over here that I need to burn. And the time is now to get all this stuff sorted out and get things moved on. There's the Jerusalem artichoke bed, and there's still quite a lot in there that's got to be harvested, and then I'll be saving some to replant. I'll do a little bit of a video on how I like to save tubers in dirt buckets, in dirt containers, so I can save them for replanting, and show you the ones that I like to aim for when it comes to saving them for a new artichoke bed or replanting them. I'm possibly going to do them in this exact same place again once I've got the bed nice and clear and made sure I've got as many out as possible, because you've got to be thorough in removing them, so when you come to set the new ones in, you've got a nice clean start. But until March I'm going to be starting to work my way through these and enjoy some lovely artichoke soup and sautéed artichokes with food I like to make, but such a healthy vegetable, artichokes. And yeah, there's a lot to be done, so I'll show you things again in the future when things have moved on and I've had a little fire and got rid of all this stuff that I need to get rid of for making some ash to save for certain things. strawberries and other things, you know. But we'll come to that when the time's right. I like to put a little bit of ash around my fruit garden areas because it helps in terms of the flowers. So that's something else for the future. And like I say, I'll catch you again on the next one. Everybody, have a lovely day.